Hello and what is up guys, Rye here and welcome back to some more automation and of course BeamNG.Drive. So in the past I've made the heaviest car possible, I've made the lightest car possible, I've made the cheapest car possible, but I haven't made the most expensive car possible, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I know it's been done, people have made a video or videos on the most expensive cars, but I want to go a step above that. I want to make a more expensive car by a decent margin compared to theirs. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. Now this is going to be the most expensive car possible in automation. I mean, most expensive car possible so far. Anyways, so what we're doing is designing and building the most expensive car possible. The only goal is cost, okay? This car has to be expensive. It's going to be probably luxurious but terrible at the exact same time. And if you don't believe me, just wait and see till later, because it's going to be absolutely terrible. Anyways, first things first, the body. Which body is going to be the most expensive body? Now, this might seem like an obvious choice. Obviously, bigger is better, right? So anyways, we're choosing this body. This is an Aston Martin Lagonda body. Now, for the people who don't know what the Aston Martin Lagonda is, it is a fantastically British car with so much quirks and features, and Doug DeMuro actually reviewed this car a while back. So we've got this body in front of us. This is the Aston Martin Lagonda body, a very beautiful car. Not really beautiful, but it's cool. It's a cool body. It's very large. It's also a convertible. That's good. That's good. The year's 2020. That's important because it's going to cost more if it's a newer year. Carbon fiber panels are going to be the most expensive. So monocoque is the most expensive. It's not the most expensive in general. It's actually quite cheap. But when we add on things like carbon fiber chassis material, which we need monocoque for, it costs a lot more. Now, front engine is fine. Now, the engine's in the front, transmission, or the drivetrain's in the back. That's fine. That's simple. It's also kind of expensive. It's more expensive than front-wheel drive, which is transverse. But it's actually cheaper than mid or rear. Not really, but it will be cheaper than mid or rear because we are using pushrod front and pushrod rear suspension, which costs a lot more money, especially when we yoink it up to plus 15 quality. Now, one also benefit of mid-engine, in this body at least, which is weird because is the engine like in the middle? Where does the engine go? We'll see later. Like, I feel like the engine's gonna be in the back, but like, it's mid-engine. How does it work? I don't know. Anyways, engine creation. Let's go build an engine here. Now, nothing says expensive like a V16 engine, 4 valve per cylinder, VVL. That costs more than anything else, and we're also going for the biggest engine possible, which is important because the biggest engine possible fits in this engine bay no problem. If we actually go to front-mounted longitudinal, it's too big. I know. So mid-engine into this, push rod front and rear suspension because it'll fit there nice and easy. 4 valve per cylinder, VVL, max size. Let's go for the best of the best pistons because that costs more. Plus 15 quality. I actually wondered, does it cost less if we use this? No, it'll cost less if we make it less. Okay. So let's go ahead, plus 15 quality on every single thing we can do. This doesn't matter as much, we just want the highest quality and VVT all cams. We want a high compression, just because I want a high compression, 13:1. Twin turbocharged, max intercooler size, which will cost a lot more. The intercooler is actually kind of small for a twin turbo V16 engine with like pretty much monstrous, this thing's gonna have absolutely monstrous turbochargers. So let's just do a race tune by default here. Biggest turbos possible basically, high boost. 20 is fine for now, and large quality. Okay, so large quality is obviously important. This thing is gonna be, you know, rather luxurious. You might think race costs more, but actually performance or standard cost more than race. We'll go for the best fuel quality, because why the heck not? Bypass valves, dual exhaust, biggest exhaust size, and I think it is reverse flow that costs more than baffled, right? Yes. If I decrease the quality slider to minus 15, and most over here, material cost is only $14,195 for the engine, but if I increase it, it actually goes down by about $200, which seems like it costs less, right? That makes sense. It costs less in material cost, but one thing that is not accounted for, that we're not accounting for, is the actual engineering time, which affects the cost. So it's increased by 60 months of time, so it takes 60 months to engineer the higher quality exhaust, which is crazy because the engine itself takes 1,768 months. That's how long it takes to engineer this engine, which is, it's a lot of months. I'm no mathematician, but that's more than a year probably, and that's a lot probably. So yeah, I just googled it, and it's 147 years. This engine would take 147 years to develop, which you know, I feel like might be an issue for this car. So the engine itself runs for now. We are going to tweak it later on. 2,400 horsepower, 2,500 torque. That's not bad. That's not bad. Let's go plus 15 on the body quality. All-wheel drive. Now you might be thinking again, dual clutch 7-speed costs more. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's an advanced auto 9-speed. Actually, advanced autos just cost more in general, but yeah, advanced auto 9-speed, highest top speed possible because it's going to increase more costs for us. Electric LSD and plus 15 quality. Next up, tires. Now this is an important one, okay? Tires are expensive. Normal tires, 255s, so 255 width tires, which are this wide, with 16-inch wheels, aren't that expensive when we go radial semi-slicks. Let's just go ahead and do this and that. Now we can go 395s, which is absolutely insane for any car, let alone a sedan with 395s in the front and rear. Crazy. But we're actually not going to go 395s in the front and rear, because that costs less. It's actually more expensive if you go 395s in the rear than 390s in the front. Because having the same size tires actually costs, you know, less than having two different size tires, which is, you know, obviously a cool fact. We're going to increase the tire diameter to max size. That's going to cost more. Now, it looks kind of like a cartoon car, and it's going to be a cartoon car. We're going to go for the biggest tires, biggest wheel size possible as well, without the tires being smaller. So 27-inch wheels. I feel like I'm going insane just by building this car. Please send help. Active wing costs more money. Higher wing angle, that's going to cost more money. Higher cooling airflow is going to cost higher everything. Just high everything, max everything. There's no hardtop options actually for this car. It's only soft tops, but that's totally fine. Now we need more seats. That's going to cost more. So 9 seats, the best interior possible, the highest quality possible, the best here possible, the best here possible, and so on and so on. Now you might be thinking active comfort is actually, you know, more expensive. We're going to do a race tune for suspension and then increase the sway bars to max. Because as you can see, the price is slowly going up. Now, everything adds up. It weighs 7,700 pounds. It gets 8 miles per gallon. It's got 0 reliability because the tires blew out, which is totally fine, honestly. So 2,500 horsepower, weighs 7,700 pounds from a twin-turbo V16. It has got a pretty good weight distribution. It's pretty heavy in the front, but very heavy in the rear. Look at the engine. Oh my gosh. Wait. If we hide the body, the passenger compartment is the engine. This makes no sense at all. I love it. The cost, though, $32,300,000. Now, I think the previous highest I saw was $32,100,000, but I promise, we're gonna beat that record by a few million at least. There we go. Plus 15 quality on the fuel system, which I forgot. That increases it by a lot. Yeah. Now the cost. $33,800,000. We're getting there. We're getting there. This car is over $1.5 million more than the previous record that I found. So 34 million. I think my record is slightly over 34 million. Okay. So what I think I'll do is I think I'm going to hide the wheels like this and just use my own wheels because these wheels look very terrible. And I want the car to look at least somewhat okay. Now, I recently made a French car from a brand which I haven't named it, which I will name today. And I've actually used this body before for that same brand. Now, I thought it'd be a great idea if we could make maybe a different version of this car. This is the long wheelbase limousine body. What if we made a version of this car that's like the highest of the highest and extravagant, okay? V16, it's got a mid-engine design, all-wheel drive. This is the fanciest of the fanciest cars ever. Let's go ahead and design this thing. So sit back, relax, guys, and of course, I hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so we're starting the build for my Aston Martin Lagonda limousine thing. First things first, now I want to get rid of the wheels and create our own wheels because the ones that we have on the car are massive. So I do use these 5-spoke rims and I add tires and other hubcaps to it as well. Next up, I'm on the front end of the car. I want to do the headlights similar to the previous car of this brand. It's gonna have these sort of, these quad headlamps that are rectangular shaped that are sort of inset into the front end of the car, and they actually are sort of half pop up, sort of pop. The top sort of pops up a little bit more, making a sort of wraparound front bumper. The grille is quite big. It's quite square as well. It goes sort of through the bumper. We have these sort of turn signals that are separate from the main headlights, adding a similar grille to the previous car, which I showed just before this time lapse. Adding some glass to the front headlights, and the front end's almost done already. great, to be honest. I have the area for the badge of the car, for the brand, which I will do later on, adding a bit of a hood bulge, and then now just detailing the side, adding some big chunky door handles, because this is a big luxury car. And although the previous car had cool door handles, this is going to be a bit more simple for that, adding some side plastic trim. This is the 90s. This is supposed to be a 1990s sort of year car, adding these triple side vents with some sort of slashes on the edge, so it looks pretty cool, adding 2 turbo badges on both sides, so it's just this turbo. I'm not sure why, but it looks kind of cool. And now working on the back end of the car, it's going to have a very similar taillight layout to the previous car of this brand, but with, I think, a little bit nicer, a little bit more luxurious, a little bit better done, to be honest, I feel like. So we have this, inside we have a taillight, a brake light, we're going to have turn signals and reversing light all in the same housing. Taillight housings back in the day were pretty simple, especially in the 90s and stuff, so it's nothing too fancy. Adding a bit of an indentation into the back, a license plate that says concept, and then working on the back, the back bumper trim, all that stuff, making it look kind of flush. Adding some venting to the rear trunk as well, adding some more detail to the front bumper, some exhaust, a custom sort of muffler shape in the back, a bit of a spoiler, and just tweaking some things on the back, adding antennas, some French flags, etc. in the car, changing the color to a bright white. And in front of us is the 1990s style Limousine LR. So like I said, guys, this is the Limousine LR 22.0 Turbo, which is a rather interesting French limousine. It's a Landaulet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Landaulet right, but that's how I'm pronouncing it right now. Anyways, the brand name has been chosen to be Leçon, which means lesson in one way in French, which the comment was very right. These cars are going to teach you a lesson. I'm not sure if the lesson that they're teaching you is going to be a good lesson or a bad lesson, but they're teaching you something. This car is probably going to drive absolutely terrible. It gets 9 mpg, which is not bad for its $34 million price tag. Service costs are $180,000 per year, which that's a lot of money for any car. So the previous car had these sort of pop-up headlights. It has this emblem in the middle here. A very similar shape for the upper grille. The bottom is a little bit different because the front end is a different design. A bulge on the hood. We got some wipers, some big old chunky mirrors, the tire situation. So these are actually the size of the stock wheels. If we actually hide all the fixtures here, go like this, hide the fixtures. So the stock wheels are actually quite large. Let's just bring it back again here. So they're quite large. They're 27 inches, which I think 26. I downed to 26. They could be 27 inches, but then the tires blowed and it actually doesn't run in BeamNG. So 26 inches is fine. The cost is still $34 million, which is absolutely insane. This car is going to be terrible to drive, okay? This car is going to be absolutely awful to drive, and that's okay. So this is the Leçon, the LR 22.0 Turbo. It's not bad. It's not bad. We're going to hop into BeamNG.Drive. I want to see how this car drives in a straight line. I want to do a slalom test. I don't know why, but I feel like this car would be so terrible at a slalom test that I think it'll be fun. So we'll do a slalom test, we'll do a drag race 0 to 60, obviously. I want to jump this car, and maybe we'll do a short track as well. So I'll see you guys in BeamNG.Drive in just a sec. Alright guys, we are in BeamNG.Drive with the Leçon LR. Now this is my French luxury limousine, obviously, and I think it looks super cool. A couple things to note before we do the drag race and 0 to 100 km/h test. The tires, so the car's floating. Don't question it, it's fine. These wheels, oh my god, look at these wheels. Why are they dented? Oh my gosh. That's probably fine. Anyway, so the car is floating because the actual tires are invisible. They are these are fake wheels. The real wheels are much larger and they're invisible. That's why we can't see them. I made them invisible because they looked terrible and I didn't want them there. But even if, you know, these ones were the real wheels, if these ones were functional, look at these turbochargers under here. Look at these. Look how big the turbos are. The car would touch. The car would just scrape its turbochargers all the time. So, one quirk about this car is we have to drop it from neutral or else it'll stall. So we're going to drop it from neutral. First gear, second gear. It's very stiff and, oh god, it's very twitchy, this car. 0 to 100 in 1.5 seconds. I'm gonna do one more quarter mile test, but we'll try, because I kind of tapped the wall there. I think we can do better. Let's try it again. .46 seconds. 0 to 100. And 8.1 in the quarter mile. Whoa! Is that my top 50 ever? That is my top, that's my 50th best ever. The car drives terribly so far, so I think it's going to be a good idea to take these cars on a slalom test, so I'll see you guys in the next track. Alright, so since there's no real good slalom courses that I could find that were like suitable for this car, I decided to go to an autocross circuit because, you know what, I feel like this car is going to obviously do super well at the autocross circuit. Well, we're not really trying to set lap times, I feel like, because we're not going to set lap times. The brakes? Ooh. Ooh. That's not good. We're going to try that again. This car is not good. Oh my gosh. Can I please just turn enough to get there? Please! Please! No, no, there's tires. Okay, I can go through them. Come on. Come on, Ryan. We can do this. We got it. Okay, there we go. We're getting there. This is so awful. I genuinely can say I've never driven a worse car in my entire life. There we go. My best time. I got a podium finish. The #1 time ever. 2 minutes 39 seconds. Beat that, guys. Let me know if you guys can beat that in the autocross circuit. That was so bad. Oh my gosh. I hate this car. It's actually terrible. We're gonna do a jump arena and finish off in the jump arena because I don't know why that took so long on that track, and I want it to be over at this point. So the jump arena. If you guys don't know what this is, it's an arena where you jump cars. It's crazy, right? I know. So now it says up there, don't go more than 200 kilometers per hour. Well, I think it's safe to say this car is gonna be a little faster than that if we just floor it, which we are obviously. Start the car up, as one does. Every time you start the car, you gotta start it again, because it stalls as soon as you drive it. Going real slow here. And the gearing should take us quite high, like 600 kilometers an hour, so I think we should be able to get pretty fast. It does weigh a lot, 330 or so kilometers an hour. Oh wow, that's a front, that's a car wheel. And still in perfect shape. I planned that, by the way. That was all planned. Now, as one does, you gotta start the car up again. So it got a pretty far time. Obviously, the distance, or a pretty far jump. The distance isn't what's important, but you know what is important is the friends we made along the way. And this car would make you 0 friends because it costs $34 million. It is absolutely atrocious in every way possible, except its styling, where it's questionable at best. So I think we'll finish off here. This is the Lecon LR 22.0 Turbo. Is it the turbo or turbo? I can't be bothered to check. If you guys like the video, leave a like down below. I want to give a huge shout out though to my channel members. These are people who have went above and beyond to support the channel. Thanks so much to Ruben for being a Big Boy Turbo member. Thanks to Charles Sin and DD Man for being Quad Turbo members. And thank you to my Twin Turbo members and everyone else as well. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys. I'll leave a link to download this car in the description if you guys want to download this for whatever reason, because this car is objectively terrible, and subjectively, it's actually just bad in every way imaginable. But download it and make it not terrible, please. That sounds like a good thing to do. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys next time.